Splendid evening it is to you viewers. Thank you for joining us as we broadcast live from our Hampton studios in Harare. It's Equity News on EquityAxis, your cross-section of stock market developments and of developments in the Zimbabwean economy. Ibn Mabunda, let's get started. From the cabinet briefing today, which is the 35th cabinet briefing, Honorable Minister Mangaliso Ndlovu gave an update with regards to the proceedings that took place during a cabinet sitting during the course of the day. Honorable Minister highlighted that government had passed the bill for cybersecurity and went into the details as to what the cybersecurity bill actually entails. Let's just have a look at the footage from that cabinet briefing to get insight into what government has paved as the way forward in as far as cybersecurity in Zimbabwe is concerned. Let's have a look.
Cabinet also considered and approved the Cybercrime, Cybersecurity and Data Protection Bill, which was presented by Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. The bill seeks to combat cybercrime and increase cybersecurity in order to build confidence and trust in the secure use of information communication technologies. More specifically, the bill provides for the following. 1. The provision and approval of codes of conduct and ethics to be observed by all categories of data controllers. 2. Data protection with due regard to constitutional rights and public interest under POTRAS. 3. Establishment of a data security center and a data protection authority. 4. Investigation and collection of evidence relating to cybercrime and unauthorized data collection and breaches thereof. 5. The admissibility of electronic evidence for such offences. 6. Penalties for offences committed under the Act. 7. Penalties for the transmission of data messages inciting violence and damage to property. 8. Protection of citizens against cyberbullying and harassment. 9. Measures to address the production and dissemination of racist and xenophobic material using language that tends to lower the reputation or feelings of persons for the reason that they belong to a group of persons distinguished on the grounds set out in Section 56, subsection 3 of the Constitution. 10. Penalties for persons who generate, distribute, or broadcast data concerning an identifiable person, knowing it to be false and intending to cause psychological or economic harm. And lastly, curbing the transmission of pornography.
As the nation grapples with power shortages, the Minister for Mines and Mining Development, Honorable Winston Chitando, says Zimbabwe is working on a plan that will ensure that by 2024, the country will be exporting power. He says that the country will be extracting power from coal. From the cabinet briefing, let's have a look.
Electricity self-sufficiency by 2024. It's a combination of firstly thermal, secondly solar, and thirdly CDM. And I'll just give a flavor of that. With respect to solar, the mining companies on their own, right now as we talk, they have solar projects which will generate over 600 megawatts of power. Notably, the largest being Karo, which has been announced before. But we do have some. We will add on another 325 megawatts. So I can safely say by 2021, mining companies will be producing over 600 megawatts of power. Now, if you take our total power consumption of 1,900 megawatts, everything remaining constant, we will have 30% coming from solar, from what is coming from the mining companies. Over and above that, you will, I would want to preempt His Excellency's presentation on Monday next week when he unveils the the 12 billion mining industry. But suffice to say, that entails a huge increase in coke production. Okay, and for you to access coke in terms of the geology, you have coking coal, which is sitting at the bottom. So that entails generation of coal, of thermal coal, which would be utilized for power generation. And so, from new mining projects on thermal coal power generation, around 2,300 megawatts, which will be coming on stream from that. And look at.
In other news, listed fast food concern Simbisa, with a footprint across the continent, today released full-year results for the year ended 30 June 2019. Top line figure grew 91% to 390 million Zimbabwean dollars for the year ended 30 June 2019. Of course, steering their performance is how the entity has performed beyond our borders, and it is the ability of the entity to earn in forex that has bolstered their figures. Bottom line figure mounted 134% to 32 million Zimbabwean dollars. Kenya is Simbisa's largest market outside Zimbabwe, and Simbisa claims that it's significant progress where that is concerned. It has been the center of much capital allocation, and Simbisa is optimistic of its growth prospects beyond the borders of Zimbabwe. Doctor strike rages on despite calls by the Ministry of Health for the doctors to assume their duties today. And now the ministry says that they are taking their efforts to the Labour Court to ensure that the doctors get back to work. Old Mutual shareholders in South Africa, where Old Mutual is listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, sees a split between the shareholders as there is need for clarity with regards to the fate of Chief Executive Peter Moyo. On the one hand, you have shareholders who wish that Peter Moyo be reinstated to his full capacity, while other shareholders are willing to risk it all for a $250 million rand lawsuit as the chief executive seeks to sue the entity for the manner in which they have handled him. Earlier we saw the chief executive Peter Moyo being relieved of his duties, and thanks to proceedings he has been reinstated, but it seems that the issue is still far from settlement. Cassava's via tractor eyes 1 million hectares in the 2019-2020 agricultural season. Cassava boasts of a tractor base of 3,000, while also boasting of a 1 million subscriber base in as far as the smallholder farmers are concerned. It remains to be seen how the story actually develops. If it turns out positive, that would be a big boost in the local agricultural sector. Beyond our borders, Ethiopian Airways is set to acquire 20 aircraft, particularly A220 planes from Airbus, in a deal worth 1.6 billion United States dollars. Ethiopian Airways is Africa's most profitable airline. This, of course, comes as a follow-up to the grounding of certain of its aircraft sometime this year after a plane crash where we saw some aircraft from Boeing 737 Air Max being grounded after the death of over 157 individuals. In Rwanda, we have seen an interesting development as the Mara Group opened Africa's first smartphone factory. This factory will churn 1,200 smartphones per day and will employ up to 200 workers. You can definitely look forward to the Mara X as well as the Mara Z models churned from this particular factory. Now this concludes our evening news bulletin. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and to visit our informative website www.EquityAxis.net. From the EquityAxis team and I, particularly Tyra and T-Mac, thank you for watching and do have a good evening. Ciao!
Climbing to the top takes more than just hard work and smart choices. It's the passion that drives you from within, the endurance to keep going through difficult times, and having a very clear vision of how to succeed. That's what we strive for at CBZ. We're a diversified and innovative listed financial services group in Zimbabwe with a complete range of activities including banking, short and long-term insurance, asset management and property investments. CBZ has been a pinnacle for stability in the economic landscape of Zimbabwe, stemming from our deep-rooted values, our excellent customer service delivery and our corporate vision to strive for excellence as a global competitor. Our continuous investment in research and development will cement our promise to provide customer convenience utilizing state-of-the-art technology. Relationships are at the core of what we do. We understand, however, that strong, long-lasting partnerships are not built overnight. With over 3 decades of wealth management, we have come to understand our clients and their specific investment requirements. Our unique